Hello there and welcome to another one. I trust everyone is doing good. Unlike earlier on, last week when I started to record, I think I had 4 or 5 cuts. So this week is a better one. And I'm not alone, I'm with a wonderful young man who is doing the most. I think anyone that has written a book is doing the most to make sure that society is in a better state. Ladies and gentlemen, I've got Mr. Cameron Dano.
Hi
is
there.
it Cameron Duno or Cameron Dano? Am I right?
It's Cameron Miles.
But then there's, where did I get Dano from? Because in my phone it saved as G.
I have no clue.
G was, Justin sent me your number.
Oh, okay. If Justin sent it, then it would be Dono, because he doesn't know from where. Yeah, that's how he saves. So yeah.
Wow! Because I always thought that I was the weird one, because when I save people's numbers,
Yeah.
I save them based on where I met them.
So do I. I also do. I don't have Donos. Yeah.
So if your name is Josh and I met you at Engine, it's Josh Engine.
There you go. Absolutely. I've got quite a few of those on my phone as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
This has been a long time coming, Cameron.
It has.
We started, I think I knew about you sometime last year. And before we get into tonight's episode, I just want to commend you, because the very first time that I got hold of you, you're one of those guys that were like, yeah, sure, here's my address, come through.
Oh yeah.
That was...
It's, I think when you do what I've done by writing a book and putting it out into the world, when someone wants to come and see you, it's a thing of come and see me.
Wow.
It's if you want to chat, we're going to chat.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah.
That's why it wasn't a problem with it, and I'd been referred to you through Justin via my best friend.
Okay.
That this is what you do.
Wow.
So my friend told me, listen, Mike, you should go on and have a look at it and whatnot. And that's how it all came about.
Oh,
so
man.
it was via that we found you.
But then I'm so glad that the word is going around that I'm doing something like this, and word is going around that you're doing something like you did.
Oh, absolutely.
And I believe, yes, society is broken, but then it takes certain individuals that are doing things that are outside of the norm to make the other person comfortable.
Absolutely.
And that's why you are here.
Yep.
The coffee was amazing.
I actually thought about that earlier. I thought I should bring some with.
The coffee was amazing, and just sitting in your space, the tranquil, is that a word?
Yep. Tranquil.
Yes! I'm on fire.
There we are.
Tranquil and the peace of your place.
Mm.
It just takes me into that space where the trees are shuffling, the birds are clipping. Is that something that sort of calms you down, or
Absolutely.
was that something that you just you happen to be seeing?
It's one of those things that my garden is my escape.
Wow.
So I sit in there in the garden every morning, every afternoon. I'll sit outside during the day. I just sit there, relax. It's cold.
Yeah.
You know, it's different from the heat that we have.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, my outside area is very much my go-to to relax.
To relax. Yeah.
And I do a lot of thinking in the garden.
Yeah.
You know, when you're being quiet, it's one of those things.
I think that's why as well we always go to the national park, to the Kruger and whatnot, where one, there is no network, two, there's no cars roaming around and whatnot. It helps you think differently of life. Yeah.
For sure.
Cam, the first question that comes to my mind when I'm sitting down with a person is, obviously I tell the people around me or my team that this is the person that I'm going to interview. The first question is, who's that? Mm. And it's a very weird question. I think I say it every episode. Mm. Who is Cam? In your own words.
In my own words, I'm an introvert. I'm shy. I keep to myself. But with what I've done, it's brought me to a different version. So at the moment, I'm sort of torn between the two of the shy and introvert, that side, versus the one that's now coming out of the bubble. So in a nutshell, I'm me.
Wow. Would you say that you writing a book has sort of like taken you out of your comfort zone?
Oh, absolutely.
Wow.
Most definitely.
Wow.
First of all, I was never very good at English in school.
Wow.
So writing a book,
that book was well written.
And I don't read. I think the last time I read a book it would have been when I was in high school. So 16 years ago.
Jeez.
Yeah. So to write a book, like I mean, I even referred to it in the book that
Yeah.
I'm writing a book yet I don't read.
Yet you don't.
Yeah.
And I still remember when I came to your place and I asked you about the book, and you gave me a copy.
Yeah.
And you said I actually haven't even read my own book.
No, I still haven't.
Still.
No.
Jeepers.
Still haven't read
Anyway,
it.
before we get into there, I've got a few icebreaker questions, and the whole purpose of the icebreaker questions is sort of like ease into the room, and not that you're nervous.
No.
But yeah, you're not. I've got a few questions, and the first question is, what is the one thing that you never do again? That you've
never
done
do
before? Yeah.
That's a difficult question. What wouldn't I do again?
Yeah.
I don't know if there really is anything though.
Find it.
If
Yeah.
I think about it,
Yeah.
I've always been calculated.
Wow.
So I've never done anything that isn't thought through.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, that's actually quite a difficult question because there should always be something that you wouldn't do.
Yeah.
But I can't come up with anything that I wouldn't do again.
So that means everything that you do in your life, you don't just do it.
No,
you
it's all
think
thought
of
out.
it.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, okay. So if I
Yeah.
go to the left, what if left is this? What's gonna?
Absolutely.
That's wow.
Yeah.
You're the first one to come on the show, and you answer like that. Like, wow, that's
Okay.
mind blowing. The next one is what's your irrational fear? What are you scared of?
Spiders.
Aren't we all?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think my biggest one is fear of the unknown, which is why everything is calculated. That's why I work the way I do.
Wow.
So that I know where I'm going.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to go somewhere where I'm like, oh, I'm lost. I think that's my biggest fear, whether it's irrational or not.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay. The next one, when it comes to aging, would you rather stay your age mentally or you stay your age physically? So basically what I'm trying to say is if you were to be 80, you stay 21. Or if you were to be 21, you have the mind
of an 80-year-old.
or the body of an 80-year-old.
You know what, I think mentally would be a better one. The older you get, the wiser you become.
Yeah.
And I think we all categorize that, okay, well, if you're 21, you only have the knowledge of a 21-year-old.
Yeah.
But you can be 21 but have the knowledge of a 50-year-old.
Yeah.
So I think aging mentally would actually be quite nice.
That's better.
You know, the physical side, obviously, it's all going to happen. But being young with a whole lot of knowledge,
Yeah.
I think would be a lot better.
Awesome. You are a cyclist. And there's one question that I've always wanted to ask a cyclist. Can you, as a cyclist in your helmet, listen to music and ride?
I do.
Really?
I do.
Does that not affect your surroundings?
I don't listen to it that it's so loud that I can't hear things around. But it plays while I'm riding.
But then, at the same time, your bike is loud.
I was just going to say my bike is very loud
Yeah.
regardless, but yeah.
Yeah.
I do. I even listen to the Garmin.
Jeez.
So I'll listen to music and the Garmin at the same time.
At the same time?
Yeah.
So you got, so obviously,
It's a
because it's
Bluetooth
connected,
set.
Bluetooth
Yeah.
set, yeah.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to ask that. But I never had a cyclist come, is it a cyclist or biker?
Motorcyclist.
Sorry, yes.
Whichever.
I've never had a biker sit next to me and like, it's always been fascinating for me. Like you've got the big helmet in and just plug in your AirPods or whatever. And,
No, I do, especially on long rides.
Okay.
It gets a bit boring hearing the same sound over and over, and with my bike being loud, you know, it really gets a bit monotonous.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Does the helmet sort of cut out some sound?
Yeah, it does a bit.
A bit, okay.
Yeah, not a lot.
Okay.
My bike is loud.
So it's loud for you
It's
as
loud
well?
all the time.
Okay.
Yeah. It's
Okay.
just with a proper big helmet on, it's a little less loud.
Less loud,
Yeah.
but loud.
But it's still loud.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Cool. So those were the icebreaker questions. I had to throw in the ones for your bike because obviously I've always wanted to. Cam, you wrote a book, and one, that book is well written, and two, your story is, I don't want to say hurting.
Yeah.
I want to use inspiring.
Okay.
And I'm not going to speak to you because I read the book. I'm going to speak to you because my viewer and my listener don't know the book.
Absolutely.
So I'm here as a listener, I'm here for the one that is watching and they're asking, Cameron, okay, fine, he's got a great voice, definitely. But the inspiration behind your book, and for one to wait for 15, 16 years to say, obviously you put pen and paper a lot of times, and you wrote it in your book as well, that you put pen and paper a lot of times, but you just could not do it.
Absolutely.
I want to go back to 14-year-old Cam. Who was that guy? Who's Cam before the whole incident happened? And we're gonna get into Cam at 15.
All right.
So we're tracking back a year back.
Just to get it right, I was 16 at the
You were
time.
16, so let's track back to 15.
So 15, I was also still fairly shy, fairly introverted, didn't have a lot of friends, knew a lot of people, but my circle was always small.
Yeah.
I'm very much a family-orientated person. My family is my life. And yeah, I mean, that's very much me at the age of 15.
Yeah.
I wasn't a big partier, I wasn't a big drinker, none of that kind of stuff.
Were you a trouble child?
No,
Never.
no. I had mental issues when I was younger,
Yeah.
but I wasn't a trouble child in the sense that I was running the streets.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So by the time you are 15, the mental issues were you already on medication for mental health?
I stopped my medication when I was 12. So I was on it from the age of 4 to 12.
Yeah.
I was good enough at that time. I didn't need any more. So I took myself off the meds, obviously with the help of my doctor.
Yes.
But at the age of 15, I wasn't taking any medication whatsoever.
Yeah. Were you okay though?
I was perfect. I was perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Functional. I was at school, doing well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then 16 happens.
Yeah.
And everyone is saying Happy New Year and may you have the best year and whatnot. Yours was going to be tarnished.
Oh yeah.
Check me through that.
All right. So beginning of what was it, 2007. I had a girlfriend. We were doing well. We then split up in, I think it was the April or May. She was moving away, so I carried on with school. She moved. And yeah, I mean, I did my day-to-day life, go to school, study, go home, homework, so on and so forth. You know, the run of life at that age.
Yeah.
And then yeah, it was, I think, the 22nd of October in 2007. I got the phone call from a girl that was in my technical drawing class, from her mom, screaming and shouting at me on the phone, saying that I'd raped her daughter. So I was listening to the voice message and she phoned again. And my mom took the phone and listened to what she had to say. And it was the whole thing of, your son raped my daughter, I'm going to the police station. Obviously not in such polite words.
Yeah, because they're angry.
Absolutely, and you know the thing is, can you fault the parent for that?
You can't. They're protecting their child.
Absolutely.
They're protecting their own. Yeah.
So, you know, the way in which the phone call happened, absolute shock factor. But totally rational in the situation that's being brought about.
Yeah.
So they laid the charge at Douglasdale Police Station. Actually, it was 5 days before, so the 17th.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, they laid the charge there.
Let me come back to, there is a woman that is screaming.
Yeah.
The daughter or the mom is screaming at you. You're a child.
Yeah.
So basically you're seeing this woman as your mother as well, because you're peers with
Same
your
age.
daughter. Same
Yeah.
age, you understand?
Yeah.
And I can imagine a 16-year-old hearing the screams of another mom about you abusing or you violating their child.
Yeah.
What was the immediate reaction? What went through your mind?
You know, it's one of those things that it doesn't hit home straight away. Immediately it's a thing of, it's not me. Especially if
because
it's
you
not
know
you.
I didn't
You
do
know
it.
you haven't done it, so
so why
it's not
must
me.
I worry?
Why would I worry?
Yeah.
You know? So yeah, I mean, the general reaction to it wasn't anything of like, oh wow. It was, what's this woman on about, you know? And yeah, I mean, it just, the shock factor sets in later on. It's not an immediate thing.
Yeah.
You know, we immediately think, okay, well, we're going to run. Like, this is what happens. You've now been accused of this, and you're going
Right.
to disappear. We've seen it in the movies.
In movies, yes.
You know,
yes,
I mean, that's
yes.
exactly how it goes in movies. The
Yeah.
guy changes identity,
Go.
and that's it. He's in a
Yes.
different country.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen that way in life. It cannot happen that way in life.
It's impossible.
It's impossible.
Yeah.
You know. So the shock factor when it's set in hard. Here I am. I'm 16 years old. I've been accused of rape.
Yeah.
They're going to the police station
So I'm going to be arrested.
immediately.
And
you know that you will be
and
arrested.
not to use any derogatory
Yeah.
factors. This is a white boy, and you're thinking, gosh,
Right.
I'm going to go to jail.
That's the thing of it though. We all know if you get accused of a crime like that, you will be arrested.
Yeah,
The
definitely.
chances are you are going to land up in court, you will land up in jail,
Yeah.
and you will come home.
Mm.
Whether it's now or in 15 years' time, you don't
But you
know.
will, yeah.
You know, so that's the thing. So that's where the shock factor sort of sets in. That now all of a sudden this is happening, and you can't stop it.
And it's going so fast, you
That's
can't
it.
even stop it.
That's it. You cannot
Yeah.
stop it.
Yeah.
You know, it's one thing after the other, and in a way, without police being the way that they are, it's not the most urgent of matters in that sense where it should be.
Yeah.
But they take their time to, you know, they've got to see the whole process of it
Yeah.
and see the situation surrounding it.
Yeah.
But 5 days later, I got arrested.
But then there's so much anxiety between day 1 and
Oh,
day
absolutely.
4, or day 1 and day 5 in
Yeah.
the morning. Because you don't know when you hear a car drive by, oh shit,
Well, that's
they're
it.
coming to take me.
Well, I was told to leave my house and go and stay somewhere else for, it was on the Wednesday that I was accused of the whole accusation happened. I met my attorney, I think it was Thursday. Anyway, he said, look, go and stay somewhere else. Don't stay at home, because if they arrest you now, you will sit until Monday. They're not going to do anything. So you're going to land up in a court somewhere, in a police cell somewhere. Leave your house.
Okay.
So immediately I become a fugitive.
That's the thing.
You know, because
Yeah.
now we've seen it on the movies.
Because now, if you are running away from your place of residence, then you're a fugitive.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly it. I'm running from the law.
Yeah.
You know. So I landed up staying with my uncle for a while. I think it was about 3 or 4 days. I went home on, I think it was the Sunday. After the whole, yeah, I went home on the Sunday. So Monday, I had to go back to school. I was supposed to be writing my English exams. My mom and myself drove to school that morning.
Surely you're not in a position to
No,
write
no.
anything.
I'm not going to,
Yeah.
well, if I had studied, which I didn't do
then
very
you
often,
never, okay.
but,
But
if I
either
had,
way,
would have
that
been out of
week
the-
has been,
you know,
yeah.
would have been out of my mind anyway.
Yeah.
So we drove all the way to the school. I was dressed, my mom was ready for work. We got there. My mom would have to escort me in and hand me over to someone at the school. So immediately I've been vilified by the school because of the accusation.
Yeah.
So the reasoning behind it was hand me over to someone else there
To be
so
your
they know my
responsibility.
exact whereabouts.
Yeah.
Because now I'm a danger to someone else. I'm immediately a threat.
As if you're gonna walk around raping other kids.
Right. I mean,
But
really.
then you haven't even gone to court.
Exactly.
But
I
the
haven't even
school
been
is
arrested
seeing
yet.
you. You haven't, yeah, exactly.
So, in that sense, I got to the school on that Monday, and I was like, I'm not doing this. I'm not going to school today.
What's the point?
So my mom was like, okay. And we went home. Later on that day, we went to an attorney to just get some advice and whatnot. The Tuesday, I did go back to school. I had to write my one paper. Got to school, was taken in, handed over to one of the educators, and off I could go to class. Being a smoker, I walked down the corridor. I knew it was my last day at school. It was my last day. So I walked down the corridor, lit a cigarette, you know, tough guy. Walked into the smoking section and went dead quiet. And it was a busy section of the school.
So no one was in there,
People were there,
but they were quiet.
they were talking until I walked around the corner. Now everyone wants to know what's going on. Because I've been missing since last week Wednesday.
Then all of a sudden you pop. Yeah.
The stories have come up that I've done this.
And you're not there to stand up for
Exactly, my
yourself.
phone was taken away, so I had no communication with anyone. I could not communicate with anyone, I wasn't allowed to.
Yeah.
So you get all the questions of, did you do it?
Obviously, everyone is
You
going to
know,
ask you that.
It's, I think, just a common and a normal
Yeah,
reaction.
did
really.
you do it? Yeah.
You know, did you do it? And the
Yeah.
answer was no.
No.
And my best mate was like, of course he didn't do it. You know.
But then it comes back to, did you do it? It's a common question. And no is a common answer.
Exactly.
Again. So who's telling the truth now?
That's exactly
Yeah.
where the
Yeah.
you know the whole process of it has to be brought to light. I can say no, you can say
You
yes.
can say yes, exactly.
You know, it's one of those things. So
Yeah.
as much as the process is so backwards, it has to run its course.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
you have to go through the motions to get that final. It is a no.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So in that sense, you know, you explain to everyone. I mean, I told them this, and I didn't do it. I had my affidavits from people. I mean, I was with a whole load of other people.
Is alibis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there were. I think, in the end, it was something like 30 affidavits were handed over, stating that I'd been seen with these people at this time.
And still it's not good enough.
No. So that's when the whole court process began.
Yeah.
You know, obviously you get all your paperwork together. I was then taken through to the Honeydew police station
Yeah.
because I had a fight with the girl's boyfriend.
Okay. Okay.
He laid a charge of assault GBH against me, and it never turned about to anything.
Did you assault him?
Him and I had a fight. I slapped him.
Okay. Because he
was spreading
aggravated
rumours around the
about, yeah, yeah.
So we have this fight. It's nothing major. It's not the end of the world. No one's bleeding. Anyway, he goes and lays a charge. For the charge to be an assault GBH charge, you need the J88 form,
Okay.
which is the assault charge sheet from the hospital.
Okay.
So,
Or to mention
yeah,
the
to say where your
injuries.
injuries
Oh,
are.
I see. Yeah, yeah.
So the Wednesday, I think it was Wednesday the 22nd. It's in my book, the
Yeah.
exact date.
Yeah.
I had to go through to Honeydew as well as the Roodepoort CPU, which is the child protection unit. So when they phoned, my mom was like, well, listen, I've got to go here. And the guy was like, no, well, you also got to come here. So I had to appear at both police stations. We went to Honeydew first, obviously being closest to the house.
Yeah.
My attorney was an ex-cop, so he knows the process.
He knows what's up, yeah.
Exactly, so he walked in, said to the investigating officer of the assault charge, where's the J88 form? No, I don't have it yet. He was like, then I'm not interested in this matter. And we walked away. We then drove to the Roodepoort CPU, met the investigating officer of the rape charge, sat in his office. I didn't have a phone. I couldn't communicate with anyone. Him and my mom, my dad, and my attorney disappeared upstairs. They were called into another officer's
Okay.
meet. They came back down and they told me I'm being arrested on charges of intimidation.
What did you intimidate me?
Apparently I was intimidating the girl that accused me of rape. Now how, I don't know. And my attorney said to him, so he sits here in front of you and you say he's intimidating her right now.
How?
How? He doesn't have a phone.
Exactly. You never sent a message
Yeah.
because you didn't have any communication.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Anyway, we placed me under arrest. So fine. My dad, obviously being my dad, listen, over my dead body will my son go to jail. Which, again, a normal reaction.
Any parent, yes.
You know, again,
yeah.
it's that, you know, I'm looking after my child.
Yeah, definitely.
So they took me downstairs, processed me through the whole rigmarole of getting charged.
Yeah.
Took me into the charge office, and on the form, now I've been told I'm being arrested on
For
intimidation.
intimidation, yes.
On the form written in red is rape.
So it changed now.
Yeah.
Gosh.
So I was like, okay, so I signed a document.
So before anyone writes rape, that means all the DNA has been taken. There is sufficient evidence.
It's supposed to be.
Okay.
They
And
didn't
that's
take my
not the
DNA.
case.
They took my DNA 4 months down the line.
So how then do you write rape when you don't have all those ducks in a row?
She went and had the rape kit done at the district surgeon.
And the
so-
surgeon acknowledged
The
that.
surgeon said that they had been forceful
Penetration.
entry.
Okay.
Now, let's be honest, I mean, like my attorney was very crude about it, really, but you're young, there's multiple ways. You know, it's not just necessarily
Yes.
from a man.
Just man, yeah.
So she had that done. I said to the cop when they, once I did all the paperwork, how would you like the DNA? What,
You tell me,
what
what
form
do you
would you
want?
like?
Yes, yeah.
Like, let's get it going.
Anything that you need. Yeah.
No, we don't need it now. So I thought, okay, I mean, I don't know any difference. You know, you think
You're
know.
young, yeah.
You know, you think
Yeah,
you know. We've
yeah.
seen it on TV.
Yeah.
But again, it doesn't work.
You don't know.
No.
That's not how it works,
No.
like you say. Yeah.
So they arrested me. They took me through the little charge office at the police station. They then took me off to Randburg Court, where they then put me into the cells downstairs. Being a juvenile, I was supposed to be in a cell on my own.
Okay.
Not supposed to be locked up with another adult. So I was had on my own for a while. Eventually, a very, very big Nigerian man came up.
Yeah.
The nicest guy I've ever come across. Very pleasant, very well spoken. First thing I did, I gave him my sandwich.
Okay.
I
But
don't know you.
well, you're not hungry though.
Oh, I wasn't hungry at all.
Okay.
I was not hungry at all.
Yeah.
But have a sandwich. You know, let's make friends.
Let's be friends.
You know,
Yeah.
I don't know how long I'm going to sit with you.
Yeah.
It could be a day, it could be 2 hours. I
I
don't know.
don't know. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Then they brought down some snacks from my mom and that upstairs. So they came and gave me that. So I split everything half.
Oh, with
I
the
had a
mate.
Coke. He
Yes.
had half my Coke.
Yeah.
That's how it went. you know.
Mate, yeah.
You know, just buddy like.
Yeah.
I don't know what he's there for. He could be there for murder. I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah.
And you're not going to ask.
You can't.
You're not going.
You
to.
can't.
Yeah.
And you're a youngster.
Exactly.
Anyway,
No, the last thing I want to know is like, listen, oh yeah,
I'm
here
a
for
mate.
murder.
Exactly.
You know, exactly.
Yeah.
Anyway, eventually, I mean, I didn't have the time on me, but it was later on in the day. They called me up after being told, oh, we forgot about you. So I get called up to go into the courtroom now. I get to the top of the stairs in the courtroom, and the investigating officer has left Randburg. He's based in Rudderwood. He doesn't have to hang around Randburg.
So it's done.
Anyway, the prosecutor wanted the investigating officer, so my attorney and them got hold of him, and it was a thing of, I'm on my way. The prosecutor decided she doesn't have the time to wait because she has to fetch her car at 3 o'clock and it's 2:45.
So you're still there, waiting.
So I'm there. So she then says to the magistrate, I think it would be best to put him into a place of safety,
Which is back on.
juvenile detention center.
That's not a place of safety. That's a
According
place
to
of.
them,
But
that's a place of safety.
that's a place of hardened young
Right,
criminals.
exactly, but they
Yeah.
call it a place of safety. So it sounds all okay, you know, I mean, we wouldn't know any difference.
Yeah.
So I get arrested, I get processed, I get taken through the court, I'm now going to jail. I'm 16 years old, I didn't do the crime, and I'm going to jail.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. Who's going to take me? The investigating officer. So I go back downstairs into the whole process, and there was a cop downstairs, a lady officer, who read my sheet, looked at me, and said, I hope you never walk free again.
So everyone has already
Just like that.
concluded
That's it.
that you did it.
Yeah. That's how you are treated immediately. You are.
This is a
a criminal.
16-year-old, and you're being told by an adult that I hope you never see the light of day.
Yeah. You haven't done the whole process, but you are.
Nothing
already
has
a
been
criminal.
done. At this point, nothing has been done.
I've been to court. That's
Yeah,
it.
that's it,
They
yeah.
know I'm available. Well, they know I'm alive
You're
and
there,
available,
yes, yeah.
and that's it.
That's all, yeah.
So my attorney pushed for the following day to get me back into court. It doesn't always work that way. I was very lucky that it did. So I went through to the place of safety, border of Krugersdorp, Braamfontein, middle of nowhere.
Okay.
Driving in, I think, not a bad looking building, and then you see the 3 walls. And it's razor wire, it's your normal fencing.
That's not. It's really a place of
That's-
safety. Yeah. Like
There's no ways you're going to
you
be
can't
getting
escape.
out of there.
Yeah.
So we're pulling in, and I see the guard there, and I say to the cop, you know, are these guards armed? And he was like, yeah, if you run, they'll shoot you.
Place of safety.
So I was like, okay, so this is jail. It's not a place of safety.
Exactly. This is
Yeah.
jail. Yeah.
So we go in, I'm standing at the counter, obviously they've got to take my details and whatnot. And there was a very short white guy, Afrikaans white guy, came up to me, he's never met me, walked up to me, looked at me in the eyes and said, this is my prison, if you misbehave, I'll fucking kill you. Just like that.
Straight up in your face.
The cop standing there
They never said a thing.
doesn't say anything. So they wanted to take my glasses away because I could sharpen my earpiece. to.
But then your glasses, then your glasses are prescription, so you
Right.
can't.
Yeah, prescription. And the glasses I had at the time, you could literally wrap the arm around your finger.
So
They
they're
were super flexible.
super flexible. Yeah.
So you then get moved from there, you get searched. Normal, just a frisk down, and then it becomes a little more than just a frisk. They,
Proper search.
proper search.
Yeah.
Take your shoes off, all of that kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
take my shoes off, fine, I've got nothing on. You go to the next room. That's where you then get processed. So you can either sit there for 20 minutes or 2 hours.
Doesn't
There's-
matter.
When,
They are not
when
in a
there's
rush.
enough people there.
They are not in a rush.
No. So I'm hanging around and the room starts filling up with more and more people. I'm the only white guy there. Not a racial thing, I'm just
But
the only
still,
white
yes,
guy.
yeah. It's
So
scary.
I'm listening to the other chaps, and you can pick up whether it's my home language or not. I mean, if you're going to talk about house robbery, even in your own language,
There is
sometimes
yeah.
they put in the English
Yeah,
word.
yeah.
So
Well,
guy's
this is
getting,
the direction of the conversation.
exactly. So I'm
Yeah.
listening to all the other guys, and there's guys for common assaults. There's I broke into some guy's house and stole his TV. Nothing major.
Yeah,
And here I'm sitting thinking, I'm here accused of rape.
I didn't do it.
I didn't do it. When I was on the way there, I spoke to the cop and he said to me, whatever you do, don't tell them that you're in for rape. So I was like, okay. He said, because if you do, they will sort you out.
Jeez. So you won't even see it the
So I
next
thought,
day.
okay, exactly.
Yeah.
He said to me, so tell them you're here for assault GBH. And if they ask what you did, you stabbed someone in the neck with a glass bottle.
That means they're scared of you, so they say, oh, he's got balls. Yeah.
So, method to his madness, sure.
yeah.
Anyway, I get
But then you're traumatizing a 16-year-old by telling them that. Though.
It's a catch-22.
Yeah.
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 So eventually I get processed, I get my prison number, and that becomes your name. You don't have a name.
You already have a prison number.
That's what you get. You get your prison number, and mine was AU8664.
So you're no longer Cam.
Nope. You get stripped of your name. They don't come up to you and say, listen, Tate,
Yeah.
are you AU8664? Yes.
Yes.
Okay, come with me. So I get processed through. They then take us into the courtyard. And it's just cells upon cells of lined up criminals. These guys are there for real crime. They've done the crime.
They've already been accused of
Yeah.
it, and there's evidence. Yeah.
They've done the process and so
Yeah.
on. So they're either sentenced there or they're waiting sentence.
Sentence. Yeah.
And I mean the language, the profanities and the just general behavior is exactly what you see on TV.
On TV. Yeah.
These people
They're animals.
are animals, and I hate using that sense because I don't think even animals would behave that way.
Yes.
Anyway, we got taken off for supper, and you join the line. You've got your tray with all your compartments, and you walk around and you get your food. I didn't want to eat. It's the last thing I wanted to do.
Yeah.
I didn't want to eat, but I had to take food. So I filled up my tray and whatnot, and I went and stood around. Where am I going to sit?
Oh, the seats are taken.
There's space. But what do I do?
Do I sit?
Do I sit?
stand in?
Do I make friends with someone? So I just stood to the one side, and the one guard or prison warden, whatever you want to call them, he came up to me and was like, are you going to eat? So I said to him, no, I'm not. So he said, okay, cool, can I have your food? So I was like, yeah, sure. Don't waste it. If you want it,
You want to eat it?
go for it. So I didn't eat. It's quite a quick process. You don't get to hang around for long. You eat, finish, done.
Gone.
That's it. Put your trays back and off you go. They then took me to my cell. I was in Block C, which is where all the other guys are for murder, rape, so on and so forth. With it being fairly busy, guys that were general house robbery were put into my cell at the same time. There were 12 of us in my cell. I got the top bunk. Little guy below me, he was there for house robbery. He got the bunk below. Mine faced the window, so I thought, cool. From a young kid, my mom always had this saying of, if you look to the moon, I'm looking at the same moon.
Wow.
So I thought if I can look out the window,
Mom is doing the same.
so if I can look out the window, the chances are my mom's going to see the same moon.
So I'm feeling my mom.
It was always a comfort thing from if I had to go
Yes.
somewhere without my mom.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I get my bed, and I've got no bed. I've got a pillow, but I've got no blankets. So fine, I'm not going to say anything. If that's how
You
it
can't
is,
even ask the warden where the blankets are.
if that's how it is, that's how it is.
It is, yeah.
Anyway, then the common conversation becomes, instead of hello, how are you? It's hello, what are you
What
in
is it
for?
for? Chips.
So a guy came up to me, a very, very big guy. He was 70, towered over me. What are you here for? So I was like, assault GBH. And I was like, I stabbed the guy in the neck with a glass bottle. Oh, so you're a tough guy. Now, what do you do?
Do you say, yes, I am? Do you say,
Or do
no,
you
I'm
back
not? Yeah.
Anyway, I was like, you know what, it is what it is. So I was like, I'm not a tough guy, but I don't take nonsense. So I was like, okay, fine. I'm here for murder. So I was like, okay.
And he's 17.
Yeah. Guy came around from the shower because you got the cell's got a little dividing wall. It's probably just above waist height.
So you can see what's happening on
Exactly.
that
So
side.
you've got your basin, your toilet, and the shower. The shower is the only one that's got a wall probably about 5 foot high. The rest are all quite short.
Yeah.
This guy walks around and he's covered in tattoos. Little colored chap. Very pleasant. Hi, I'm so and so. What are you here for? So I was like, assault, GBH.
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, and you? No, murder, hijacking, assault, rape, armed robbery.
Jeez.
So I was like, okay. Wow. So I climbed onto my bunk bed and that's where I stayed. I did not get off the bunk bed. I did not go to the bathroom. I did not do anything.
Anything.
I stayed there. At night, obviously now later at night, you've got to switch the lights off. They have their little prayer routine. The chap the very big guy that
The
came
middle.
out to me,
Yeah.
he was Zulu. Told me he was Zulu. He was like, do you mind if I read in Zulu? I was like, I really don't care. You can do it in whatever language. I don't care.
I don't care.
And he read and then he translated from the Bible. I can't remember what verse it was,
Yeah.
but anyway. Then it's lights out. But it's not actually ever lights out. There's always light on. So you've got big spotlights that land up shining into the room. So you can still see
so you can still see what's
So
happening.
my whole thought of, if I'm on this bunk bed and I'm looking out the window, I can see the same moon as my mom.
It's now,
and all
now
I
on
saw
point. Is the light.
Was the artificial sun of the floodlight.
It's the floodlights.
And it's orange. So that's what my view became, you know. So following morning, you get up 5 o'clock. It's wake up time. Now, I've not slept the whole night.
Yeah.
I've made sure no one is moving around without me.
So if anyone turns, you're already looking at the camera.
Absolutely, you know, I know exactly where everyone is.
Yeah.
So 5 o'clock you get up. If you're going to court that day, you then do a little arrangement of your blankets. Now, during the night, the one guard that came in gave the little guy below me a slap and gave me one blanket because he had taken mine.
Okay.
In the morning, I got given my second one, and you roll up almost like a, of course now I'll lose my words.
Yeah, like an envelope.
A Swiss roll.
Oh, Swiss
You know,
roll.
you do that on either end of the blanket with one, and then you do the other one corrugated like
oh,
the
like that, okay.
and then you put them together and you put them between the rolled up ends, and as you let it open, it's a sun. It becomes the sun. So when you walk into your cell, it looks all nice at rising sun.
Wow.
No matter how pretty you make it look, jail is jail.
Still jail.
That's it.
Yeah.
So I did my whole little blanket thing and whatnot. Then you do your exercises, which is a 15-minute squat.
Okay.
That's it.
That's
All in a line and you squat.
Squat.
That's it.
Okay.
Then they call out your names. Well, your new names,
Your numbers.
your prison numbers.
Yeah.
So now the whole night I've been telling myself my prison number so I don't miss
So
it in
you
the
can't.
morning. You know, because now I'm going to court.
Yeah.
So cool, they call out my number, they call out the coloured chap with all the tattoos as well. We're going to court. So we leave, go to the breakfast counter, same process. And I said I'd have a cup of coffee, please. The lady took a cup and swung it through a massive container, probably 1 meter by 1 meter wide. This big container, stainless steel container.
With coffee.
And that was coffee. So whether it was like 1 teaspoon or 30
Oh, no,
teaspoons, you don't.
It doesn't matter.
You got that coffee, and it was terrible.
Yeah.
So, as you leave, they give you potholes for the road, and then as you walk out, everyone starts screaming at you because now they want your food, and they're banging on the doors, and they're screaming,
The
and
noise.
they're shouting, and they're swearing.
The
This
noise.
is like now 5:30 in the morning.
The noise.
It's terrible.
They're up already. Yeah.
Yeah. And whether they're asleep or have slept at all,
But
I don't
still,
know.
yeah.
You know. Anyway, so I get taken back through to the waiting room where they processed me, and slowly but surely the room emptied. So I thought, okay, now my cop told me that he had feedback
So he's coming.
Yeah, he'd be back 9 o'clock in the morning. So now there's a computer there that I can see the time on. And the time's getting later and later, and now it's 9
And the
o'clock.
anxiety is building as well.
Of course, everyone else is emptying. And I'm waiting. Like, where's this car?
Yeah.
You know? So now, have I got the wrong day? Am I staying another day? Your mind starts racing.
Starts racing.
Now you don't know. Because I'm a calculated man. I need to know
What's
everything.
happening when, yeah.
Now this is out of my control. So of course now I start panicking.
So funny.
So I go to the front counter and ask the lady at reception. She tells me, I'm not going to talk to you, go sit down.
They're not even entertaining you.
So I was like, okay. When he sat down, the coloured chap that was in my cell with me, his investigating officer arrived at the same time that mine did.
Yeah.
Mine arrived at about 11:15. When they took this coloured chap out, he was handcuffed and shackled, and then they joined between the handcuffs and the shackles.
Like, yeah.
So there's no ways he
You
can
can't run away,
you know.
yeah.
And you know, you watch it on TV where the guys shuffle their feet.
Yes, yeah.
That's
yeah.
exactly how you have to walk. So he gets taken off and whatnot. My investigating officer says, no, come, let's go. So I'm thinking, well, now I'm going to be handcuffed. He's not letting me go. That was one of the things, he can't handcuff. We get in the car, on our way. Oh, I just need to stop at a friend of mine.
But
And I'm
then
thinking,
it's
okay.
at work, so how is
Exactly.
that possible?
So
Yeah.
now I'm wondering, you know, where we go. It's in the middle of nowhere, first of all, like, where's your friend?
Where's your friend?
Stop at this funny little garage type thing, and the guy's a mechanic. He gets out the car and off he goes and chats to
And just
this
sitting
other
there.
guy. Now I'm sitting there. I'm accused of rape. I've been arrested. I've gone through court already. I'm going for a bail application now. He leaves me in the car. I'm not in a van.
Alone.
I'm in a buggy.
Yeah.
I could have opened the door and run.
And run. And
Of
the
course
thing
you're
is,
not going to.
there's not thinking to it, so you can open and run, because
Exactly.
you're not thinking
going to.
rationally.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, again, we see it in movies. You don't think that way when it's really happening. So he gets back in the car. We go off to Randburg. I think I arrived back at about 1:30. Hung around for a while. I was the last person to be called up into court again. Went up into court. Same prosecutor, same magistrate. My investigating officer was with me. Now, you always get told, don't talk without your lawyer present.
Yes. Because everything you say or do will be used
against you.
Yeah.
Now, I've got a long drive from Randburg to Randfontein. There's two of us in the car.
You
gonna
are
sit inside?
like you are going to talk. Yeah.
So we started talking when we drove there. When we drove back, we started talking again. And when I got into the car, I said to him, look, if you bring me back here, next time you see me, we'll be in a body bag. That's it.
Now you're thinking of suicide.
Yeah. So I plotted that night while I was there. If I get taken back, they didn't take my belt away. They didn't take my shoelaces away. Wanted to take my glasses away.
Yeah.
Anyway, I decided that what I would do is I'd use my belt around my neck and roll off the bed. That way breaking my
Break your neck. Yeah.
So he was like, was it really that bad? I was like, you don't understand. It's terrible. So fine, go into court. I get called up. He goes and stands in the witness dock.
Yeah.
And he says, look, this guy's not a risk. He's not a risk.
You could have ran.
He said he's a child of God.
Oh, shit.
So, I mean, you know, we discussed, I mean, I'm not overly religious now,
Mm.
but I was brought up as a Christian.
As a
and whatnot.
Christian, yeah.
I still have my God, but I don't go to church.
Yeah.
Anyway, he was like, you know, he's not a danger. He doesn't have a passport. He's not going to run.
He doesn't even
You know.
have money on him.
Exactly.
He doesn't have a phone on him.
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
You know, I had nothing. The only thing I had was my parents and my family. That was it.
That's it.
So the prosecutor was, you know, trying to argue a little bit, and the magistrate was like, no, hang on. So they asked about how much I earned, because I had a weekend job at the time. And I earned 100 Rand a day. I worked in the hardware for a Saturday.
Yeah.
So it was 400 Rand or 500 Rand a month, depending on
Depending
how
on
many
the
weeks.
weeks, yeah.
So my attorney asked me quickly, I told him, he told the magistrate, cool. The magistrate turned around and said that money would be used for sweets and chips and peanuts.
It's not enough.
So I was like, okay, you know, where are you going with this?
Yeah.
Now, my mom's drawn money, my dad's drawn money, everyone that had money drew money. so that they could pay for bail.
Or for whatever amount.
You don't know,
exactly.
you know, I mean, in our country, you can kill someone and you get
And
500 rand bail,
or someone
but you
can
commit
still
fraud and
switch.
it's $1 million.
Yes, yeah.
So you never know.
Yeah.
So everyone literally drew what they had. So the magistrate turned around and said, I'm not going to set a bail bond. I will let you go into your mom's custody or dad's custody, whoever, but there's no bail bond. The money that you earn is for sweets and peanuts.
That's nothing,
you know.
yes, yeah.
So I was led home. Now, you hear everything, but you don't hear everything. So I heard them say, you know, you can go home. But it was like, hang on, did he really say that?
I don't even believe what my eyes are hearing.
Exactly, so now I'm allowed to go home. So I remember walking to the dock, the edge of the dock, you get closed in with a little wooden door. And it's a little bolt, like a normal door bolt,
yeah,
you know.
Yeah.
And I couldn't work it. I didn't know how to open this little bolt. That's how much
And
of
that's
a shock
simple,
it is. It's
that's a simple thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we went home and whatnot. I mean, obviously I had to appear in court again at a later stage. But I was allowed to go home. They granted me bail. I'm not a flight risk. Only thing was I had to have a diary kept of my daily doings.
Okay.
So that was fine. I ended up going to work with my uncle. So that was that for the initial appearance and arrest and whatnot.
Yeah.
I appeared once a month, every 30 days. I appeared for the next 9 months. After 4 months, my attorney said to the magistrate, please can we have DNA taken?
Because now you're being treated like you're already accused of the...
Exactly. I am a criminal.
Yes.
I am already a criminal according to our justice.
Because you going back to report, that means yes, you did it.
Exactly.
But because you're a child, we'll let you go.
Right. So now I'm already, in their eyes, I'm already this rapist.
Yeah.
Now, I know I'm not. I know I didn't do it.
You didn't do it.
But the more you treat it like that,
And I end up...
the more
maybe
you start
I did.
thinking, you know, like, am I?
Maybe,
you know,
maybe I am, yeah.
You know, they say if you
Mind
tell
is
someone
playing
you're stupid
tricks on
often
you.
enough,
Yeah.
you eventually
I am
believe that I am
stupid.
stupid.
Yeah.
You know, and it's the same type of thing. So I'm going back every 30 days where, okay, well, there's no evidence, so we'll just postpone again. So after 4 months, so it was in the October, the February, they took my DNA. District surgeon, blood test, fine. I had every single barcode from that kit. It was documented, it was pictures taken, so that you never know what goes wrong.
Yeah.
We know we've got a corrupt system here.
So you
We
have to
know,
be extra careful.
You know,
Yeah.
so just now, it's the thing of this person knows this one, and we planted over
you
there.
planted there, yes. Then you
So, you know, exactly. So cover all your
tracks,
your tracks and cross
whatever.
your
Yes,
T's and dot your I's. You know?
yeah.
So that was taken the 30th of July, 2008, 10 days after my birthday. I had to appear again. It had been postponed every time. Time before that, I sent in doctor's letters from my psychiatrist and my psychologist from when I was a kid, younger.
Younger, yes.
And they were like, listen, this is the damage that it's doing. Either come up with something or let him go.
Because you're killing this child.
You know, you're making the matter worse.
I am the host of the M.A.N podcast, and the reason for the M.A.N podcast is to make sure that we ensure a generation that is mentally strong. And I believe that everyone is going through something. It may not be the same thing that I'm going through, but either way, there is platforms, and this is one of those platforms that we make sure that we give you the best tools and tricks to make sure that you live your best version of yourself. I love you guys, and I'll see you guys on the other side. Remember to like, share, subscribe. Do all the nitty-gritties to make sure that the next person knows about God. The next person knows that God takes care of your mental health. And there are professionals that are set aside or that have studied to make sure that you are the best version of yourself. From me to you, I love you and stay safe.